While post-credit scenes have been a thing for decades, it was super popularized by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, causing audience members all over the globe to wade through seemingly endless credits, just to catch a 3-minute scene that might hint at what's coming next, or give us a resolution to something we were wondering about. However, many people don't realize that horror films often have post-credit scenes, many usually teasing a potential sequel. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 epic post-credit scenes in horror films. Number 1. A New Loop. Happy Death Day to You. In 2019, we got the sequel to 2017's Happy Death Day, with Christopher Landon directing and Jessica Rothe reprising her role as Tree. In the sequel, we follow Ryan, Carter, and Tree as they go to another dimension and have to survive the killer once again, with Tree explaining along the way how she's dealt with this before. She also knows how to return back to her original dimension, and does so safely, landing her back to September 19th. Well, the mid-credit scene leaves some room for a potential third film. As the friends are cleaning up trash, a government agency brings them to a DARPA lab, where the time shift machine is. The agency wants to further test the machine when Tree offers up Danielle. This is when Danielle wakes up in her room screaming. Honestly, it'd be kind of interesting to see if another film is made and where they'd go with it. In the meantime, be sure to check this out on Peacock, Fubo, Hulu, Sling, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 2. No Survivors. Dawn of the Dead. As a remake of George A. Romero's 1978 film by the same name, this is more horror than action. Zack Snyder did a fantastic job with his directorial debut, even though the location doesn't add up for me. Set to take place in Milwaukee, a nurse and her husband continue a date night even though there's an emergency broadcast going around. The next morning, the husband is killed and reanimates, leaving Anna to flee her home. She meets up with a group of people and they take shelter in an abandoned mall. They're left to figure out how to get away and survive, even with a few members of the group dying along the way. Well, the post-credits scene picks up where the film left off, with the group traveling through the city to get to the marina. Again, others are dying and there's little hope for survival, but the remaining members of the group travel across Lake Michigan to an island where zombies are waiting. As the camera drops, it's clear nobody survived. I honestly like this ending better, considering not everybody is going to survive some of these crazy situations. But let me know what you think after you check this out on Peacock, Sling, Google Play, Prime, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 3. Black Bride Reveal. Insidious. Following the Lambert family, we see one of their sons fall and ends up in a comatose-like state. After months of not getting better, the family takes him home, where things start to happen, causing the family to believe the house is haunted. After moving, they realize that didn't solve the problem, and Dalton, the son in the comatose-like state, is lost in the further, which is this astral plane where your spirit can go. Dalton's dad is told he needs to go and rescue his son, which he does, and both father and son wake up, seemingly normal. Credits roll, and then we see our psychic get spooked out when she takes a picture of Dad, revealing he's the Black Bride now, and kills the psychic. He is then seen behind his wife, where she is clearly frightened, ending the scene. Make sure to check this out over on Peacock, Fubo, Hulu, Sling, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 4. Brendas Back. Urban Legends Final Cut. This 2000 slasher film was directed, edited, and scored by John Ottman, and honestly, it deserves more attention than it gets. We follow Amy, who's a film student at a prestigious film college, and decides to do her thesis on the urban legend serial killer. Not long after, people who are working on this film start to die in various ways, and authorities assume it's self-inflicted or accidental. This leaves Amy to figure it out, all while she puts the final touches on her film. Flash forward to the credits, where we see Brenda Bates talking to Solomon, now confined to a wheelchair at a mental health facility, as she pushes him out the hospital with this murderous grin on her face. Leaves it open just enough that if they wanted to, they could make another film, and I would be happy. But you can check this out over on Pluto, Google Play, Prime, Apple TV, or Fandango.
Looking for some new duds to dazzle your friends and family with? Support Fat Ninja Studios by heading over to fatninja.shop and checking out our very own merch store. We've got everything from shirts, hoodies, hats, shoes, and more. Again, check out fatninja.shop. Every dollar spent goes to our big fund jar and helps us produce more quality content and short films. Thanks again.
Number 5, Lost in the Jungle, The Green Inferno. Eli Roth directed this 2013 cannibal horror film, and I'll say, this film is just awesome in every aspect. We follow Justine as she joins an activist group, and they travel to the Amazon rainforest to stop the destruction of the area. Along the way, one of the planes they're on crashes, and the group is stuck in the middle of the rainforest with no connection to the outside world. They end up getting captured by a local tribe and are killed in various ways. Justine, however, is able to get back to the States and thinks everything is over and done. However, the post-credits scene reveals that Alejandro's sister has proof he's still alive and contacts Justine to have her help bring Alejandro home. It will leave you on the edge of your seat, so make sure to check it out over on Paramount Plus, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 6, Rebirth, Terrifier 2. Damien Leone is a mastermind when it comes to the Terrifier films, especially considering he wrote, directed, edited, and produced them. The imagery is one to make anybody squeamish. So let's recap real quick. Art is resurrected a year after the first one, and now he's going through committing as many murders as he can. But Sienna is able to bring him to his demise after she rescues her brother from the demonic entity. I will say, if you haven't seen the post-credit scene, be warned. Victoria is now residing at Miles County Psychiatric Hospital, where we see staff talking about the Halloween treats from one of the wives. All the while, we get clips going back to Victoria in her room, where blood starts gushing down her legs, and she uses that blood to write on the walls. Well, as the scene progresses, the nurse is headed back down the hallway where she hears screaming coming from one of the rooms, noticing it's coming from Victoria's room. She opens the little door to peer inside, seeing Victoria eating or licking something. She scrambles to get her keys into the door, and once she unlocks it, the door swings open to reveal Victoria gave birth to Art's head, and Victoria's face is even more disfigured than before, with a menacing laugh gracing your ears, as well as screams as we see Art's head getting that joyous smile on his face, knowing what's about to come. Make sure to check out any of these films over on Prime, Roku, Google Play, Apple TV, Redbox, or Fandango. You won't regret it. Number 7, Murray Massacre, Zombieland 2, Double Tap. Years after the original Zombieland, we see our group living at the White House, and now there are 3 kinds of zombies they have to ward off. While on a mission to Graceland, a new member gets scratched, so Tallahassee takes her to the woods to kill her. The group continues on to try and find Little Rock, but she's already on her way to Babylon. So the group continues on their mission. At the commune, Tallahassee tries to kill an entire horde of zombies by blowing them up. And everybody ends up happy, getting back together, what have you. But as the credits roll, we get interrupted by a flashback to 2009 when the zombie outbreak started. During an interview, Bill Murray sees Al Roker turn into a zombie, which leads Bill to murder him and several other zombies before he escapes. And at the end of the credits, we get a little treat with Bill trying to make Lily Estefan mess up or trying to get her to laugh as he pretends to cough up a hairball. With a little bit of everything, this film is worth a watch over on Hulu, Sling, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 8. Direct-to-sequel, The Final Girls. A comedy slasher doesn't always work for the best, but for some reason, this one is on par. We follow Max as she and a bunch of friends end up at a double feature film, only for that theater to go up in flames. Chris cuts a hole in the screen and the group is transported into the film. Well, after all the fighting, killing, and attempted trapping, the group reaches the end of the film, believing it's all over, when suddenly Max wakes up in the hospital to see Chris in the bed next to her, listening to the chatter of people on the other side of the curtain, only to realize it's her friends. After some talking, Billy, the Killer's theme song is playing, and the group realizes they didn't make it home, but now they're in the sequel and have to survive once again. I will say, I was hesitant watching this film, but I'm so glad I did. So make sure to enjoy it for yourself on Peacock, Google Play, Prime, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 9. Battle of Brothers, The Lost Boys 2, The Tribe. In 2008, the long-awaited sequel to 1987's The Lost Boys was released, and I'm kind of on the fence with how long they waited. But nevertheless, Edgar Frog, played by Corey Feldman, returns for battle against the vampires. Following Chris and Nicole as they move in with their aunt in Luna Bay, California, Chris tries to find a job when he and his sister are invited to a party. Nicole drinks some blood and starts showing signs of vampirism. Now Chris, with the help of Edgar, are ready to wage war on the vampires, all for the sake of Nicole being human once again. But as the credits roll, we are interrupted by Edgar standing by a park bench yelling at somebody lurking in the shadows, only to realize it's Sam, one of his old friends. After some back and forth, both lunge at each other, and the scene cuts to black, leaving many questions for audiences. Considering this was a direct-to-DVD film, it set a record for sales, making Warner Brothers go for a third installment. Make sure to check out this and the other installments on Apple TV, Google Play, Fandango, or Prime. Number 10. Playtime's Over, Curse of Chucky. The Child's Play franchise started off in 1988, where we were first introduced to Chucky and the Good Guy dolls. In this film, we follow Nika, who is Sarah's daughter, when an odd package shows up addressed to Sarah, and soon she's murdered by Chucky. Nika's sister visits after Sarah's death, and the family sits around watching an old family videos, when the sister sees somebody that shouldn't be there. Well, Chucky, already alive and enjoying his games, kills the family except for Nika, who ends up in a psychiatric ward. We all know that Chucky doesn't die, so when the credits roll, we're left to wonder what happened next. Fortunately, we didn't have to wait too long. Once the credits were done, we see a man getting a package, walking upstairs to his apartment with Woody Woodpecker cartoons playing on the TV. Then the phone ringing. The man turns out to be Andy Barclay, all grown up and planning a get-together with his mom, when Chucky cuts open the box, sits up, turns his head, only to be staring down the end of a shotgun, held by Andy as he says, "Play with this," and blows Chucky's head to smithereens. Honestly, I love seeing Andy take back control in his adult life. kinda gave some closure to his side of the story. But make sure to take a peek at this one over on Netflix, Sling, Google Play, Prime, Apple TV, or Fandango. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at StudiosFat, or chat with us on Discord, links below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again. See you in the next one.